Greetings, if anybody is there. How you doing, Baker? I hear you, man. Got to get your hustle on. When in doubt, you could always buy all the cheap colors from Walmart, spend $10 and make stuff. You ain't got to buy Rust-Oleum. Yeah, I hear you, Baker. The key too, I got to where is using less of it. Literally, at first I was using way too much paint, which made it harder to finish the pieces the way I wanted them to, and I was using too much paint. So it might sound obvious, but maybe just try to literally use less and less. I can get cans to last like a month now, even if I'm using it a lot. So doing smaller pieces, of course. I think I had the volume down. Baker, you there? Is that a good volume? Can you hear everything? Emerson, I'm not sure what that said, but hello. From Brazil, yes. Thank you, Van Pelt. Appreciate that. Trying to share this as much as I possibly can. Okay, sweet. I know there's a bit of a lag going on, so if you guys ask questions or have comments, I'll make sure I try to go back and look at them as I'm painting, or maybe try to check them at the end. Hello, greetings. Looks like we got 9 people. Emerson, just saw that. Not sure what you're asking. Maybe you can find a translator in Google possibly. I can help you out. Best Coast? What do you mean? I'm in the state of Virginia, East Coast, Norfolk, Virginia. Philly, sweet. Went there just a few years back to see a Faith No More reunion show. Woo! Was in some outdoor theater. Had like crazy amphitheater with like crazy woodwork over the amphitheater. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean you might have a little bit of a fight with Brooklyn on that one, but Philly, Brooklyn, you know, yeah. I mean they got dudes in Brooklyn going back to like '72. You know what I mean? Yeah, Faith No More show was amazing. Only one person opened up, that was Rozelle, that used to be in the Roots. He did the whole show just by himself with a microphone, no band, and it sounded like a metal band meets a hip hop band, just with one dude with a microphone. Shit was nuts. Wales. Woo! And my man from Wales, do you ever check out Brett Day? He's from the UK somewhere, does videos. I dig that guy, he's cool. Finland. Yeah. Now we're spreading across the globe. Man, Mr. Bungle, especially that California record. I mean, that Disco Volante is pretty nuts, but the California record, you're like, those dudes could cover any genre of music ever that's ever been recorded. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to recreate a piece that people have requested before. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. There really is no best brand. I think it's personal preference. The Painter's Touch is hands down the thickest pigment colored paint that will produce, I think, the highest quality. But I literally use every brand. This, the Montana, the cheap Walmart. They're really, like I said, is no best. But if I had to give you a permanent answer on just quality, it's this. But the caps are kind of crappy. You got to clean them a lot, so there's a catch to it. I know, I saw that. He is from Norfolk. That's sweet. He actually said that to me one time. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to try to find this painting. All right, so what I plan on doing is recreating this one, a similar version, but I'm gonna put something cooler in the middle instead of that. But I'm basically gonna do this. So what I'm gonna do is, let me finagle this thing. The glare is so bad. So what I'm gonna do is recreate similar piece to this. And essentially, I'm only going to use, well, black's not a color, but obviously black. I'm just going to use these three colors, the good old red, gold, and, red, gold, and orange, right here. So I'm trying to do more color schematic pieces we don't have to use but so much. Let me see what that last live one was. Yeah, for sure. You're right. I dig the splatter effects. I do actually keep certain caps to use for certain things, for sure. That's what I'm saying. There's endless techniques to a lot of this. You just wouldn't, a lot of it being a mistake, but it's a technique. Happy accidents. All right, guys. So looks like we got 14 people live right now. 13, 14, something like that. So I'm gonna start this thing. So everybody want to get a quick look. This is pretty much what I'm gonna recreate, except I'm gonna put the rocks on both sides, not just this angle, but this is the gist of the actual look of it. Okay. All right, I want to let everybody know that I'm still trying to get, move this over, people on my Patreon to help me support me do my art. It's much appreciated. Lily, thank you so much. She was my first Patreon. So today, if I can get 3 people to sign up from my Patreon, doesn't matter who, just any 3 people, and when you go there and see, there'll be benefits to doing it, one-on-one lessons with me. We can schedule it. Like I said, one-on-one. You don't have to wait for me to go live, things of that nature. Whoever the first 3 to sign up, I'm gonna randomly draw your name and send you this painting for free. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I'm gonna pay the shipping. So it could be a lot, but hey, it's worth it. So you guys can go to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Marcus Fussell. All right. Or you can Google it, you know, whatever, you'll be able to find it. And if we get 3 people, I'm gonna go live and let you know I got 3 people by tomorrow, 24 hours from now. If I get 3 people, I'm gonna randomly draw the names live and send you this painting. All right, let's do it. All right, so I might need to move this a little bit, make sure you guys can see it. All right. So, what I'm gonna, oh yeah, one quick thing I didn't go over last time. This right here. So I'm gonna be talking, stop talking, put this on, paint, wait a few seconds, take it off the talk. This needs to be the most important thing that you wear 24/7 when you're painting. It's very dangerous to inhale this stuff. Might seem obvious, you might not think, oh, a couple times here and there, like I have in the past, I won't put it on, it'll be cool. No, you need to wear it all the time. So I'm trying to spread safety measures as well. So don't forget this bad boy. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna start with the gold. All right, that's gonna be the basis behind everything. Now, once again, depending on how thick I want this, the deal is, I don't want to cover but so much. So the one thing I tell people is the worst thing you can do is sit here and go like this, right? Everybody see that? Like this, thick? Move this can. Fast. You'll perfectly layer it, not too much paint. Mask on. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna add the orange and the red and the black, same way. But first I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do this middle piece, then I'm gonna cover it in black and add the rock textures, and you'll see the process. All right, I'm putting the mask on. A little bit of orange for now. Actually, go ahead and cover this side where the rocks might be. A little bit of orange, then the red. Gave it a good spin. Doesn't come out perfect every time. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna keep it. If not, just redo it. Add more color. Sometimes you could not add color and do it, but a lot of times I'll add a little spray and then do it. All right? So right now, I like that. So what I'm gonna do is, this is where I like to use the cheap Walmart paint. So I got my white, where's the black? Let me find the cheap Walmart black. Didn't have it prepped. There we go, good enough. All right. So this is actually a local hardware store, but it's the same concept as the cheap Walmart stuff. It's $1 a can, has this old school style tip, which I love, the old school tip they used to use for graffiti until Rust-Oleum took it off so graffiti people wouldn't use it, which was dumb because they're buying their paint, but I digress. So, always got to shake them up. Shake them up. Shake them up. I haven't touched, I pre-shook the colored ones, the red, the gold, and everything, but this guy I haven't touched in a while, so I'm gonna shake them up. Okay, so I got it nice and shaken. Now I like to use this. I'm gonna end up using the Rust-Oleum, but this stuff is so thick, it's hard to get smooth faded. That's why I like this stuff. It fades the paint and the color's better. So I'm gonna start on the I'm gonna start on the outside of this painting, slowly move my hand in until I just enough cover some of that black. I wanna keep all this like it is and try to just cover those edges. All right, putting the mask on again. All right. Sometimes I'll take another little piece of poster board here and just kind of brush all this stuff out of here, all the residue in the air, and dry it off a little bit. All right, so now this is where I'm going to use, let's see, got this cheap Walmart red. Once again, it's got the better spray. I want to do some red coming off the trail. This is almost going to be like a portal, like you're going into something is kind of what I'm envisioning. You put a little bit of red and then come out. I'm going to add a little bit more black of the cheap stuff on the edges over here. All right. Now I'm going to take this red, shake it up, shake it up. Always give it a little taste test on the side. A little taste test. All right. So this is a real light. The Rusto would have just left super dark red, which is cool when I want more red, but I wouldn't be able to control it. So I'm gonna maybe do the edges over here, go back in, throw a couple little bloop bloops right there. All right, now I'm gonna take the yellow Walmart. It's one of my favorites to do to make things glow from the inside. I'm gonna go, bam, right there in the middle. Okay, off to the side. I always like to line my finger to make sure I'm spraying in that direction. Sometimes it'll get off to the side. So I added that right there in the center. So that should make that a little deeper. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my personal favorite. A lot of people, you can use anything for texture. Magazine was what most people always started off with. Newspaper, Portfolio Jimenez loves that. I've used that too. Plastic bags, I really like that's just my favorite. It doesn't rip off. Sometimes the magazine and the newspaper can tip. Then you gotta peel it off the painting. It's got its applications, but I like this more durability. So it's kind of hot here, obviously. I think this is dried. Here we go. Clear coat, very important. All right. I showed you guys last time how you use this to clean your brushes off. You didn't know. Paint brushes, if you use them. The foam brushes, there's too much paint in there. You might as well throw those away. Painting brushes, you could totally, I'll spray this into a cap, dip the paintbrush in there and clean it. So that's a little tidbit right there. Little pro tip. All right, So this right here is the clear. I want the rocks to go over here on the edge. So I am going to spray this clear coat right this way. I'm not going to try to touch the middle because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mess with that. So, all right. So now I'm going to take the old plastic bag. I want it to be kind of like a rocks on both sides. So I'm just going to move my fingers all around. Bam. All right. So what I did was, I like the texture of all that. Most people don't realize the more paint you put down, when you try to do what I just did, it just kind of blobs all over each other. If you can put the least amount of paint, that gives you the most texture from my experience. So right here, I like that. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna come over here, try to add a little guy right there. Try to add a little ones up here on the top, like it's coming up from the top. All right. This right there is kind of cool. I might give another little. Every time you put the plastic down, you're going to be picking up more of the dark paint because the light paints went down first, right? Always go light to dark generally. More of the yellow and the orange is going to come through. Okay. I'll also, part of a technique, we'll let this dry for maybe a couple minutes, then keep going. Each time you do it, you'll get a different texture. So, but for now, I want to keep going. So I'm gonna put a little thing up here. I want like a little ledge, maybe for a dude to like stand on or something. So I got that right there going. Gonna maybe add a little more up here to even it out, okay? Texture is already starting to change because the paint's drying. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, so now, hold on. I gotta think ahead because I want to put more rocks in front of it. So let me add some stuff right there. Cool. So that is gonna make it kind of a tunnel. So now I'm gonna take the cheap black, shake them up. Let me get a little more thicker rock edge over here so I can pull off what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna need more clear coat. All right, what I do with that bad boy right here. A little bit of clear coat. All right, not a lot. I just need to get a little bit more of this rock texture right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the cheap paint here, the black paint, try to spray almost this way. You wanna lightly darken the bottom parts of this rock, okay? So now I'm gonna put the mask on. See, if this works out right, you don't really have to highlight the edges. I might do a couple where it's dark, because then the natural highlights, I mean the light, when you put the plastic down and made it light from that dark, that really should be your highlights. Let's see what that last one said. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Looks like someone said they signed up for my Patreon. Thank you so much. All right, so here we go. So like I said, give it a little fan. Let that dry a little bit. Now I want to keep that wet a little bit because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use. I like the orange, so I'm going to find. I'm going to get that orange I had. Actually. I'll use the red. I'm gonna put a little bit of like, kind of like a space gas sort of thing, just to give it a little bit of a background right here. This little red. All right. Take that same plastic. You shouldn't have to. See, the last one was. Yes, Walmart did change the look of the can. It used to be this. Now it's this. They made it fancy. All right, so because I put down that light black and that red, that re-wetted the paint. I don't need to use the clear coat. So I'm going to take this bag again. Okay, take your fingers, draw literally what you want the rocks to look like. All right, that's another foreground rock. Gonna add a little bad boy right there. All right. Yeah, that's true. You might have a different stock. Seemed like there was fading out of the blue one because one's color place, one's spray and go. It's probably made by different companies maybe. All right, so right here, I'm gonna do a little more rocks. All right, so now I'm wanting to start looking like you're in kind of a cave. All right, so now I'm gonna take the sheet black again to this bottom. I'm always gonna darken the bottom half of whatever I do to keep it, that's in the foreground, that's not being light coming from the center. You should be able to maybe order the color. I think they have their paints on their website, check that out. But every Walmart I've ever been normally has white, black, yellow, blue, orange, your basic primaries, even gray. But all right, so that right there, kind of let it dry slightly. And what I'm going to do is, I am going to do some palette knife work here. So I always take my palette knife, which looks like a little pizza cutter or a pie slicer, whatever you want to call it. And this is a file, and I just always clean it off because it should be clean. All right. So I think I'm just going to kind of maybe mess with these bottom ones because these kind of have a good amount of light and texture on the edges. Maybe give them a couple little light points just to brighten it up some, you know, little teeny accents. You can see that. Just a couple like points of reference. UK. Really appreciate that. All right, so I'm adding a couple little, really just the edge of the rocks is getting light from this portal right here because there's probably not really the sun's not going to be hitting it in this part of space, I presume. All right, so now I'm going to go to this front rock that I did, add some highlights. And this is where it would have been important that you covered this part with light colors like yellow and orange. So all this right here, when you're scraping it, is coming through. You ever done it and you didn't paint that part and you're like, I'm not getting any color? And that's because you just didn't put color there, technically. Do it all the time. All right, maybe add a little, like there's a rock behind this one going in there. All right, now right here, I was gonna put maybe like a little platform. This is what's cool. You could just leave this down. I'll leave it touching and just kind of like drag it. You know, there's no rules. Just make up whatever you want. So this is gonna be like a little platform maybe that where someone could walk on. Back in Dutch. A lot of my family is from Germany. One side, the other side's Dutch. Those damn Dutch. I'm just kidding. All right. So I just added some, so now I want to make this, you know what? I'm going to improvise. Maybe there's a little teeny door right here where some cosmic mystic space warlord lives. All right, everybody see that? So I put like a little door right there. This is kind of, that's what I like to do. I like to get, I used to be so worried about getting it done first go around, and then I would have a vision, I'm like, oh, it's done. And I don't think I didn't enough until later start doing it, see something and go, I think that's gonna look better, and just change your idea. Just go with it. I was gonna put a guy up here, but now I think the little doorway right here could just be where somebody lives. Like I said, Galactic Space Old Warlord. Maybe some lost Cardassian. For all you Voyager fans out there. If my girl's watching, I just think it's funny. Alright, so alright, add another little bloop bloop. Another little rock guy. Starting to get a little too bright right there, so I'm gonna take the cheap black paint. Oh yeah, I definitely got a fan system. Someone just asked. Right over here next to me, a giant industrial fan blowing it out a huge bay door. And I'm in a warehouse. I don't worry about the paint particles because I know they're going to land on everything anyway. But if you really, I've noticed, you know, when people start really just spraying crazy, that's really when all the particles and the bad stuff start happening. You can really control your paint, you know, to a minimum. But you can't just use the white. A fan is a fan, but you know, they're not all created equal. So I would definitely get one that's a little more powerful, a little more on the industrial end. All right, so I darkened this up a little bit because it was a little too bright, like there was too much light that was coming in. All right. All right, so I like how this is looking. And one thing, you know, it's like, you know what? All right, one thing I noticed, a lot of times before I added the rocks, I would have added some stars. But in this situation, something like a portal might suck all the light out of the stars, and there is no stars. Well, let's say if there is a couple, or you want a couple, that's one of my favorite things to do. I do like the flick technique, certain, you know, technique to it. But I'll do that, and let me get find some white paint here. Sometimes you just can't find your white paint. And this is one of those times. Okay, here we go. Alright, so gotta shake it up. Alright, so I'll spray some white onto a board. And I like to rub the paint on here. Do a little, just go around. It'll do a bunch of little stars. Maybe go a little faster. Not gonna put with so many, just a couple in there so you see some space. Kind of changes the vibe of it a little bit. Like I said, generally I might have added those beforehand, but no big deal. So you just added some. All right, so I like how that's looking. I think I am gonna try to add a little bit of the white in front of that yellow because that will brighten up the portal a little more. So I'm actually gonna first spray the yellow before I got closer to do it smaller. I'm gonna track back. I want more yellow bigger than that. So let's try it. Shake it up. Okay, so I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna start close, really light little sprays and step back. There we go. It's a little bit bigger. Now I got more room to put a little bit of white in the middle. And this is why it's key to use the cheap Walmart stuff, the Rusto white, unless I'm doing a giant painting. Even then I use this. It's almost impossible to get the white to not look like a fat 1-inch blob of white paint. You want it to be like real misty and gassy sort of. So that's why I like using this stuff. It really is the tip. The tip has a different pressure. When the Rusto tip taps into the can more. This barely taps in. That's why old school graffiti guys love this, because you have way more control. All right. Now, off to the side. I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna try to practice my. That worked? I think that worked. Bam. All right. So see how that white? I think really just all of a sudden made it look like, okay, there's something coming in, coming out, or going into that portal. Now it makes all your edges brighten up too, because now there's a light source. All right, so it's looking good. I'm trying to think about it now. I think one thing that would be cool, sometimes I like to do this just to change it up. So I'm gonna do it live right now. I'm gonna take a paintbrush. Why not? Hell. All right, let me get a good paintbrush. All right, so this guy here I got. All right, hold on. Let me see what the last one said. Yes, when it comes to spray paint, whatever, when you're using a brush, whatever spray paint you're using, whatever brand, I don't know if, unfortunately, Walmart has one, but actually the Rusto will work. The clear coat of that brand, so if you use Montana, buy Clear Coat Montana. You use Rusto, buy Clear Rusto, and so on. That's what you use to clean the brushes, which I was actually getting ready to show you guys. This is a brush I've had. Now, when you do that and you come back a few days later, it will be hard, okay? But what you can do is, it's not crazy hard. It's just this cleans the color out of the paint, but then this dries and it gets a little hard. This is what I do. I'll spray some clear into a cap, and I put the brush in it. I'll leave it in there 30 seconds to a minute. You'll start to feel it break up. But that is how you keep your brushes good, is using the clear coat. And if you use gloss, use gloss. If you use matte, use matte clear. I know it sounds matte clear. I mean, I know it sounds dumb, but it's true. Then I take the brush, and I literally just have this little like polishing cloth I use around, and you'll see it broke the brush up, it brought it back to life. Now, that's why I tend to buy cheaper brushes, because this stuff does just tear brushes up, unfortunately. Sometimes I'll just spray it like right on the brush. And I'm wiping it off in this thing. But as you're doing it, it's bringing the brush back alive. So that is how I personally clean my brushes. I'm sure there's a formula I can use after that. Now the acetone, I can't remember, I think I tried it a while ago. I can't remember how it works on this, because, okay, people ask, what kind of paint? Like normal acrylic oil painters, and I'll say acrylic paint. This is acrylic paint, but it's acrylic enamel. So the enamel is what's drying these bad boys. So if the acetone does work on it, I'm gonna try that. But just to get a quick, when you're painting, if you want to clean your brush to switch colors, like an oil painter would using paint thinner, you use this, and then clean it at the end, and then you can come back and use it. Did that help, as far as anybody was wondering? All right, it says a little bit of a lag going on, guys. Sometimes I miss the questions, but so now I feel like painting something right here in the foreground, like some sort of like ruin, like ruins, like something lived here. I don't know. I'm gonna spray the black onto a surface. Take the paintbrush. I'm just gonna wing it. I want some sort of like ancient ruin of some sort. You know, like a podium or something. Maybe make it look like it's a face or something. I don't know. I'm gonna put two of them like they're pillars walking into the walking out of the cave, maybe. Okay, thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. All right, so I think I always add these little pillar things like this because I love Never-Ending Story. And the little gates the dude walks through, I think that just stuck with me as a kid. So I just like when things have, like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's probably it. All right, so make these a little taller, make them a little more intense, bigger. All right, so that right there, I think I can take the palette knife. I'm gonna take this palette knife and I'm gonna test it. Sometimes I'll take the paintbrush and add highlights instead of scratching, so it's more subtle. But I'm gonna see how this looks. Remember, because I just painted it with the paintbrush, that re-wetted the paint, obviously, so you don't have to use the clear coat to re-wet it. So I'm gonna do some highlights on the inside of that. I mean, I think we all did, right? Had a crush on the princess. Well, if you were a kid, of course. If you were an adult, that might make you a bit on the creepy side. All right, so I'm just barely touching it, trying to give it some highlights. Because obviously light's gonna hit both sides, I'm gonna go in here and add a little bit on this side, just a little bit on the edges. Kind of like how that's going. All right, so I think I dig that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a person right here as if they're gonna be walking out into that. And what I do is, everyone kind of has their own thing. I keep a drawer, like literally a drawer of just hundreds of stencils that I've made over the years. And I use them as like my characters. I do have a story I'm building with this stuff. A lot of people will ask me for my stencils and I'm like, sorry man, I can't do that. That's like giving away my characters, you know? But it's as easy as drawing it out and cutting it out, literally. So I'm gonna find, let's see, I want somebody who's like walking into it. And the reason why I like using these characters, so in case I ever want to connect the stories, I don't have these, sometimes I do just hand paint random characters. But I like to keep the story going because I never know if I'm going to end up using that. So there's one guy I like to use. It's this guy I use in a series I have called The Creator. They're little creator entities throughout the universe that create planets and galaxies. Like I said, I am doing a little sci-fi story thing with these guys, but so I'm going to test this. I think I'm going to put him like right here, right in the middle as he's walking in. But I got to let this dry just a little bit in case I lay this down and it picks paint up like that. It's so hot out, I'm not going to worry about like doing the fire thing. I'm going to try to do that as least as possible. That's good for live shows and so forth, but not always the safe practice. All right, so I think we're almost there. Well, I can put this guy and a spaceship flying into the hole. Bingo. Yes, I draw my own characters, then cut them out with an X-Acto knife. I normally use poster board, thick poster board, to do all my stencils so they last. Okay, so I think this will be good enough right now. I'm gonna give it another tester. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna put this guy down right here like he's walking in. I don't need to use the weight to apply too much pressure. I'm just gonna grab one of these guys, people you probably use quite a bit. Someone just asked, sure. I mean, however you need to draw the character, trace it. I mean, I've been watching TV before, and in the middle of a movie that I paused in, I like the silhouette of the guy, so I put tracing paper up and drew it out and then changed it just to get that solid image. There's no rules. I would recommend not stealing somebody else's total idea. You know, let's say if I make a spaceship and you want to do the same idea, just draw your own concept of a spaceship. That's where the artistic value comes in, I think. All right, so this guy right here is chilling. I'm gonna use this just to block off. I'm gonna hold it down a little bit to block off, use the Rusto paint, okay? Bam, so I just put him right there. So this dude just chilling, but there is a light source, so I need to add a shadow behind him, because we are doing a painting. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of a shadow behind him. Try to get the formation right. Let's see how that came out in the thing. All right, looks a little weird, so I'm gonna touch it up with the palette knife. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it, but I'm gonna try to thin it out some. Leave a couple little, just kind of mess it up so it's like it's not a perfect shadow. That's all. All right, so I think I like that, but right there, the shadow on the dude, for some reason, where I put the dude, not coming out 100%. I'm gonna fix it and touch it up. But the important part now is I'm gonna do a highlight on. But what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna paint a highlight onto the dude and not scratch it, because it just gives it a different texture. Nope, I haven't gotten a tattoo in a couple years, unfortunately. It is what it is, man. So my friend of mine, ironically, who lived here and was living in Germany the past 5 years tattooing, just moved back and lives right across the street from me. So I think I'm going to be hitting him up. All right, so what I'm going to do is take a smaller paintbrush. I like these little teeny guys. And I'm going to take the clear coat. I'm going to re-wet the paintbrush. Okay. Remember, take this. I think we got 30 people watching. Sweet. 3 times as many as last time. All right, so this guy's good to go now. That doesn't need much. So I'm gonna take like a gray color. I think gray would work good. I'm gonna do, gosh, shake it up. All right. Take a little bit of gray, maybe mix with a little bit of black. I'm gonna darken it some and add a little bit of black on here. Oops. Well, thank you. All right, so then I'm gonna mix this up. Thanks, Billy, appreciate it. All right, so this guy here, I still need to darken him. Still a little bit too much gray. Let me go in here and keep finding the color. And go up here, add more black. All right, now I'm gonna take, I'm almost get almost all the paint off this bad boy. Not all, but almost all of it. And I'm gonna go down here to this dude. And I'm gonna highlight the edge of him. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's a little bit far away, but give a little bit. And I'm also gonna add a little bit more black. I just saw something that didn't look right or weird. I'm gonna add a little bit of rocks right here around him, so it's like he's walking in. Add a little bit of gray into these rocks while I got it on the paintbrush to like use up the paint, add some highlights and textures. All right, so I think that's it. I think I'm gonna roll with this piece. All right, so let me clear all this junk out of here. And let me try to get a good spot. So there we go. And you can't really see it, but I did the gray highlight on the guy. I'm trying to get it close enough, but it's kind of hard to see. But there we go, guys. That's the finished piece. And I think you guys just apply yourself, apply some of these techniques, keep working at it. You will be able to pull this off if you're not already. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining me. If you weren't here at the beginning, I am in the process of trying to get, let me move this over, trying to get more people on my Patreon so I could do this for a living possibly. If you go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Marcus Fussell. It starts at $3 a month, but the first 3 people that sign up today, I'm going to take their names, draw them into a hat. I'm going to go live tomorrow. As soon as I get 3 people, the next few days, however long it takes, I'm going to take the names, put them in a hat, draw it. I'm going to send you this painting for free, and I'm going to pay for the shipping and everything. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys next time. If you join my Patreon page too, I also give you inside updates of always when I'm going live, but I'll also, most of the time, put a video up on YouTube, a preview video telling you that I'm going live. I appreciate it. Join me next time.